You shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize.
You can stuff your sorries in a sack, mister.
I'm sorry, I thought this was America.
I'm sorry!
Congratulations, you've unlocked All Apologies, a show about apology tours and demanding satisfaction. I'm your host, Andy Q. Public, and with me as always is your co-host, Joe Sixpack. Joe, what's going on?
What's going on, everybody? Andy, the new intro there looks awesome. Way to put that together. Thanks for doing that, because I hadn't gotten around to it. But we got a saga here today, Andy. Did you need anything before we jump into it, or?
Oh, I think it's great because this is a contemporary news story that happened recently. So I like being on top of things as they unfold.
Yeah, I will say, though, I'm mildly annoyed a little about how the sausage is made. Andy and I record on Sunday, and it really seems like everything that fucking happens on the weekend hits on Monday, and then we have to wait a fucking week before we get a crack at it.
True.
So I do find that mildly annoying, and that's what we're dealing with here today. We're going to be talking about Morgan Wallen, and Edsy, if you could do the GMA clip for me here for explanation.
Morgan Wallen this morning in another mugshot, charged with 3 counts of felony reckless endangerment and 1 count of misdemeanor disorderly conduct after police say he threw a chair 6 stories down from a rooftop bar in Nashville. And police say the chair landed just 3 feet from 2 of their officers who were working below. Witnesses say they saw him pick up the chair, throw it over him, laughing afterward. He was booked and released on bond early Monday morning, seen here moving between 2 umbrellas and a waiting vehicle. He has not yet entered a plea. It's not his first time in trouble. In May of 2020, he was arrested and charged with public intoxication and disorderly conduct after getting kicked out of a Nashville bar. Prosecutors later dropped the charges. Later that same year, during the height of the pandemic, Saturday Night Live dropped him as their musical guest after he was seen in TikTok videos ignoring COVID precautions at the time, out partying without a mask and kissing random women. And then in February of 2021, he was caught on video filmed by a neighbor using a racial slur while speaking to a friend after coming home from a night out.
Yeah, excuse me. So yeah, that's kind of gives you a bit of a background there. I have
Apparently this guy is a fucking problem. And you did mention that the bar that he got kicked out of was Kid Rock's bar.
No, that was a different time. So that's the other thing
really?
yeah. So hang on one second here. I don't know what happened here. I can't get the fucking link. Can I just copy this shit? God damn it. I'm sorry, guys. Just give me 1 fucking second so I can share this screen. Can I just share? No, I can't. Let me see if I can do this. Present, share screen. 2 monitors, okay. And 2, boom. 2, allow this. All right, can you see this?
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, Andy, to your point, that Kid Rock's bar. No, that is let's get to the top here. So this is kind of from Business Insider, if you can see. This is a breakdown of Morgan Wallen's long, sad history of being a dickhead.
I just want to say that I've been to Kid Rock's bar when we went to Nashville for WATP, and it's a fucking shit show, like circus freak. Every dildo butt rock fan is there, and I saw one of the worst cover bands I've ever seen just playing Blink 182 and Green Day covers poorly, and it's not a place for cool people. And Morgan Wallen being there proves it.
Getting kicked out of there is like a feat, like king of the losers, basically.
Yeah. If they're not tolerating you at Kid Rock's bar, you're a problem.
Oh man, that's a massive wound there. So Morgan Wallen gets kicked out of Kid Rock's bar and arrested. Then he bucks COVID protocol and he's making out with random girls on the street here like a pimp.
He's
Good for him.
uninvited to SNL because of that.
Because of this.
And they
Because
said
of
he
that.
wasn't wearing a mask. He's clearly wearing a mask there.
Here?
Yeah.
Oh,
look
you
at
mean
that.
just
Yes.
about,
Yeah. That
Yeah.
wearing it like that is as effective as wearing it any other way. I don't know what the problem was.
Yeah, look at these massive wounds over here. That's cool. So then he gets kicked out. He's uninvited to SNL. Then he drops out of headlining in Georgia. He ends up doing some fucking thing,
He
self
actually was on SNL. They
Yeah.
finally have him back on there.
a referential thing about being a dickhead with Jason Bateman. Good for him. And then what we're talking about today, he's caught on camera by some Karen across the street saying the N-word. And that's what we're going to talk about here. And then, a lot of just downward spiral for a minute here. But he's also like very successful now, too. Suspended from his record label. Here's the video we're going to look at, his apology. Then he comes back and does that. And he keeps performing and he gets bigger and ever. Oh yeah, I've been through a lot and I'm really getting through it. And now I released my new song last night. It's a big hit. Spoiler alert: that song blows. If you like it, you suck.
Such a big hit that I have to throw a chair 3 stories down at a couple of cops.
And then he let everybody down at some concert. Minutes before everybody shows up, minutes before the show, they cancel the whole thing. Very Axl Rose style. And now that really kind of brings us up. Now he's 3 felony counts for throwing a chair off of the building there. So
Possibly the most famous person to come out of The Voice, right? Winning The Voice means nothing to everyone, right?
name the biggest contestant to win The Voice.
I couldn't name one. I mean, I probably couldn't name this guy if he wasn't in the news for being a shithead.
No, he didn't win it either. So I don't think.
I don't know any winners. Not a single one.
Well, we'll talk about it here in a minute. But so that's what we're talking about. This guy, he came through The Voice, like as Andy mentioned there, and oftentimes not winning is better than winning, right? Because you're not like locked into some contract with Carson Daly and fucking Blake Shelton for whatever you have to do. You can you got your 15 minutes and then you're on to negotiate a better contract, basically.
Yeah, probably
that seems what
better off.
Happened with him. He got to grow out his mullet really effectively.
Fucking terrible hairdo.
Oh my god, I blame Patrick Mahomes for the most part. But so let's get in. So what had happened was, do we have Andy? You did pull the offense.
I'll take it. I have a roundup of that because
let's do that.
Now that Morgan has fucked up, he has to do what everybody that fucks up the worst does. And
hang on.
Down with the...
I'm sorry. Before you do that, but let's just be clear here. We're talking. He is in the news now for throwing the chair off of the bar.
Yeah, he hasn't apologized for that yet.
Felony accounts for that. That's not what we're covering here. We're covering him saying the N-word
in 2021.
Being caught saying the N-word back in like 2021.
Right.
Just to be clear. Okay.
And now Morgan has to sit down with the arbiter of every fuck up in the modern world, Michael Strahan. In clip 1, this is Strahan taking him to task.
There are going to be a lot of people who are going to watch this interview and say he's only sitting down because he wants to clean up his image. It's all a performance. So what do you say to that?
I understand that, I understand that I'm not ever going to make, everyone happy. I can only come tell my truth, and that's all I know to do.
Yeah. I mean, if you're sitting down with Michael Strahan, you know you fucked up. And I hate this my truth garbage. Just because your perception is your reality doesn't mean it's a fact or the truth. Because if I'm sure Marjorie Taylor Greene thinks that earthquakes and eclipses are God's way of telling me to vote for Trump in November. Shove your truth up your lying ass.
He's speaking
bullshit.
his truth like a 36-year-old yogi woman who just got divorced for the third time and is now into crystals, and she wants to share her truth with you. That's the truth that he is sharing.
Yeah. So clip 2 is some of the TMZ footage of the actual incident. Let's just see how well they cover it, but there's going to be a little more of like a background of like what this is all about.
But in January, neighbors recorded this video obtained by TMZ showing Wallen using a racial slur outside his Nashville home. The music world responded swiftly. Within hours, Wallen was suspended from his label, his songs pulled from the radio and streaming playlists, and he was declared ineligible for the upcoming Academy of Country Music Awards.
Oh no, I can't win a country music award. That's what hurts the most. Like, who fucking cares? He had really hoped to take home a valueless trophy for being the most milquetoast, pandering bore fest in the laziest genre of music, pop country. And you can see there, it's bleeped out, but he's out with a white friend and he's yelling like, "Take that N-word home."
Ass N-word. Yeah.
And some tattletale is videotaping it out of their window from across the second story across the street. So, I mean, that's the incident. But
yeah, I actually thought that the GMA coverage was a little more robust than that, or the part that I had seen of it. You know, they're falling out of a vehicle or whatever, and this is a scenario just to set the stage here for people. I'm not trying to say this is right or whatever. Obviously he's very wrong in this whole thing, but it's not like he was being hateful towards a black person about this. He was like fucking with his friend in a very obviously inappropriate way. But I just want to be clear that he wasn't like this was not like hate speech towards a group of people. He was saying something inappropriate to and about his friend who wouldn't, keep drinking with him or whatever.
Just you're right though. I mean, it's worth mentioning that he wasn't using the N-word towards a black person. So it could have been even worse. I mean, it's bad, but it could have been a lot worse. And Morgan's going to recount the experience of learning how badly he fucked up when his manager called him in clip 3.
When did you realize that what you had done was a big deal?
My manager called me probably 2 hours before the video came out. He's like, "Are you sitting down?" And no one's ever called me and said that before. I went to one of my friends has a house, out in the middle of nowhere. Just sitting in that house trying to figure out what it is I'm supposed to do.
All these idiots run away into the woods and they dig a hole and sit in it in the woods to get away from their problem. We just saw Velveteen Dream do the same thing in the field somewhere. On the mini episode, if you want to join the Patreon, patreon.com and / All Apologies podcast. We covered the D&D dungeon master Gabe Hicks fucking up a polyamorous relationship. Somehow he can't figure out how to be poly with a bunch of hot chicks, and he goes and he's apologizing in the middle of the woods somewhere.
This is like
Morgan Wallen.
This is like a Pineapple Express, Andy, where Seth Rogen and James Franco run off into the woods and they just smash their phones in the woods because they're running away from the drug dealers.
Yeah.
Just go nowhere.
Yeah. He's in some Evil Dead style haunted cabin in the woods. Just put this guy out of his fucking misery.